Hello, good afternoon and welcome to my channel and welcome to Devon in the southwest of England. I hope you're well wherever you are. So in my last video I said that there's a strong possibility we would be moving to Spain, and I would say that that possibility is even stronger now. I wouldn't say it's certain because there are still things that can go wrong and still things that can change, but I think we are as certain as we can be at this stage in the process. And knowing me, I probably won't say that we're going to do it for definite until we're actually there. So we'll see how things pan out. But I think anyway, there's a strong probability that we will be there in the next month or so. And naturally that leads me to question sometimes, why are we doing this? And I ask myself that question particularly on a weekend like this, where the sun is shining, as you can see behind me, when lots of people are here on holiday enjoying themselves, and after having spent an absolutely wonderful long weekend with my daughter and her partner. And that leads me to suddenly sit up with a jolt and think, why are we leaving all this behind? Why would we do this? And so that has become the most pressing question that I need to answer, and I thought I'd share my reasons with you, but also ask for your help. So if you have ever moved abroad yourself, especially if you've done it for a second time, or if you've even thought about moving abroad but not yet done it, then I'd love to hear what your reasons were why you did that, because then it might give me some encouragement, may make me feel less crazy or daft for doing such a big thing. Anyway, I'll give you my reasons now, and I think there's probably going to be maybe 5, perhaps 6, we'll see. So the first one is we're doing it because we can, and that's really important. So I am fortunate to have the right to live and work anywhere in the EU, so that makes the whole bureaucratic process of moving to Spain a lot easier. But we can also do it because we've not yet really put down roots in England. So we moved back here 18 months ago. We didn't buy a house. The apartment we're renting is fully furnished, so we don't own many possessions. Our family are scattered all over the place. I don't have a job here, and so there's nothing really holding us back apart from our own love of this country and of this community and our attachment to Devon. But what I've realised in life is that these opportunities to act on that freedom only come along once in a while, and we just happen to be at one of these moments in our lives where we really can do this, and we might not get the chance again. So that's the first reason. We're moving to Spain because we can. The second reason I'm doing this is because I want my wife to enjoy her life with me. So she has dedicated much of her life to me, just like I've dedicated much of my life to her. And I want that life she has with me to be a good one. And she has spoken about or dreamed of doing something like this for a long time, and I don't want to hold her back in her desire to do something really special with her life. So that's a very important reason for me. Naturally, like anyone else who's been married for 30 years or more than 30 years for us, I can think of reasons and moments when I've been less than perfect. And I think it's amazing she's put up with me all these years, and so I would like to do something special for her. So that's a real motivator for me. The other reason, excuse me, I've just taken a cup of coffee, I need to have another sip. The other reason I want to do this is related to that previous reason. So when I compare my life to everyone, or almost everyone I know who's my age, so whether it's friends or family, and when I compare it at a very superficial level, then in some ways you could say they have done better than me. They have achieved more than me and achieved more than us. And that's because they own a house, they own a car, their house is full of lovely possessions, and they are settled, and their life just seems to be sorted. It seems to be going in the way that you would expect someone's life to go. So, and of course that doesn't tell the whole story, but sometimes we do make these comparisons at a superficial level, and that makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad that my wife doesn't even own a TV, so, let alone a car. And I know that she would dearly love to have a home that she can call her own. So in that small part of our life, I feel we haven't quite achieved what we set out to achieve. So for me, that means we have to make up for that by making the rest of our life really good. And I don't know any other married couple that's happier than we are. So that's really important. We are a good team, we work well together, we love each other, and we enjoy our lives. And I want us to really lean into that and do more of that and make our lives together as special as they possibly can be, so that we're not comparing ourselves to other people in a negative way, but that actually we're just seeing things for what they are, and that is that we have chosen to live our lives in a very different way to what probably we were taught and expected to do when we were younger. And even if after a few months we decide this is not for us, we want to go back to England, at least when we're old age pensioners we can look back on our lives and think at least we gave it a try. And no matter how difficult or short that chapter of our lives turns out to be, it will be something that we will remember forever, something we can talk about, and we can feel completely satisfied that we did everything we could to discover a life that was a good fit for us and what we want. The next reason is, I was going to say it's a little bit more selfish, but actually it's not, because I think my wife also wants the same as me in relation to this. But I'll talk about it from a selfish perspective because it's not about her. This video is about me. What I've noticed over the last few months is that I've started to feel a little bit bored here in Devon. And okay, that might be me still coming to terms with no longer working, but it's given me the sense that there is still more out there that I want to do. I want to carry on learning. I want to carry on contributing in some way to this world, and I still want to experience more from life. And so this feels like an opportunity to do that. And maybe an example is that during the winter, when we were looking for a house here in England, I started looking for and even applying for some jobs. And I was doing it a little bit because I was bored. I was doing it a little bit because I was trying to find something that would make me happier here. But I was also doing it for financial reasons. I was getting frustrated because the houses we could afford to buy here were just disappointing me, and I thought I'm going to put up a fight here and find myself a job that will improve our financial position. But I'm not sure I was doing it for the right reasons. because when I gave up work the first time, I had a dream that I would try a different way of living my life. And that was a way of life where creativity was a much more important component of my day-to-day life. And I've done quite a lot with that whilst I've been here. I've done a lot of these YouTube videos. I've almost finished my book. And I've done one or two other things that I won't go into now, but I was about to give up on all of that and just go for an ordinary 9-to-5 job. And now that we've changed our mind, now that we're looking at moving to Spain, I hope and I intend for that to give me one more opportunity to try and live my life in a different way, where there is more creativity, there is more healthy living, there is more focus on my general well-being, where there is a chance to do much more learning and to experience new things, to meet new people, so that I become a better person and that I don't give up on my dream just yet. Now maybe I will still need to get a job. I think that's a practical and pragmatic thing to do in my situation, and maybe I will do that. But that's not going to be the only thing I do. I'm not going to devote my whole life to, I don't know, being a project manager, for example. I might do it 3 or 4 days a week, or do it as a digital nomad, but it's not going to be something where I'm commuting into London every day, for example, or into Bristol every day. So I'm going to do it, if I can, on my terms, so that it fits with this current phase of my life. And I'm very much hoping that Spain will give me the the inspiration and the freedom to do that. Okay, just a couple more reasons. The one is the obvious one that everyone says, and that's about the climate. So we've had a particularly bad winter here. Sometimes it felt like it would never ever stop raining, and I'd forgotten what a blue sky looked like. And I got through that thanks to this wintering well program that I've mentioned on a previous video, but it was tough. And even now that the weather is better, it's still quite cold actually. I mean, I wouldn't get in that sea behind me to swim, for example. And so I am hoping that the Spanish climate, the Mediterranean climate, will suit me better. I have some doubts about that. You know, it might be that it's too extreme for me. It's too hot, it's too dry. In the winters it can also be very cold because the houses aren't well insulated. So maybe I'm not going to like this climate, but I want to give it a try, and I want to try some more. I want to live a life where I'm outdoors more often than I'm indoors, and that's what I hope to get from this. So I would like to get a coach who can teach me to swim properly. I do swim a lot, but I don't swim well, and I would like to have an opportunity to swim every day, but in a way where my head goes under the water, not trying to keep my head out of the water all the time and getting a bad neck. So I've got to get the technique perfected or get it right. So first few weeks I want to learn how to swim properly, and then spend a lot more time in the water. Where we're planning to go near Alicante, it's quite flat and there are long promenades, so I hope to do lots of cycling and hiking in the winter. So I'm hoping all of that will be good for my fitness, for my overall well-being, and will help me to feel a lot more happy and positive about life. And now we come on to the last reason, and maybe this is definitely one of the most important ones. And it's related to my children. So my children are both grown up. I still would like to be able to, in some ways, be a good role model. I'm a bit reluctant to say that, or I was reluctant to say that, because I think they're a role model to me rather than the other way around, and they're an inspiration to me, and I have as much to learn from them as they do from me. But I'm hoping that I can show them that even though our lives are heavily constrained financially, we can still create a great life for ourselves, and they can do the same. So they might not have what we had when we were younger. They might not have the ability to buy their own house at a young age. They might not have a job for life, but perhaps there are other things in this world that they can benefit from that we never could, like artificial intelligence or the internet or technology. Although I have some doubts about all of those things. But my point is that I'd like to make my children proud of their parents. I think up until now they've often been quite embarrassed by us, but I'd like them to feel a little bit proud of us. But more than that, I'd like them to take some encouragement from us and to see us trying things out, whether we make mistakes or whether we have successes. I would like them to learn from what we do and to feel empowered and encouraged to live their lives to the best of their abilities. So that's it. There's my reasons. I'd lost count in the end. 5 or 6 good reasons why I think we should move abroad. I could probably come up with 5 or 6 good reasons to stay here, but I'm not going to talk about those. But those do sometimes pop up in my head, and I need to counter those with these good reasons why it's worth us taking this risk, taking this big step, and doing something that is actually quite scary, but is also very exciting. So I hope you got something from this. I would love to hear from you if you've got any words of encouragement, or if you've been through similar dilemmas when you've been making a big change in your lives. And yeah, take care of yourselves, and I'll update you again soon. Thanks then, bye.